myself, and every pound I felt, I was reclaiming my health. Every no they said helped me build generational wealth, cause every setback is gonna sharpen up my stealth. People love the story, but they don't like the early days when I ate clean meals so I can just change my ways. When I forced myself to journal through that mental haze, when the scale laughed at me, but I had to still stay strong and stay brave. Now I'm charting, breaking, retest with a clean, clear view. And how can Nashi tell me exactly when I need to move? They want the profits, not the nights I had to push through. You say you want my skill, but then you gotta live like I do.
Ty, appreciate that. I love the way you just present and you welcome me anytime. Just know anytime you call, I'll be answering the call if you need me anytime. Yeah, so let's clap it up for yourselves in the chat for being on the call. I see we have 25 plus amazing souls on the call today, wonderful individuals on the call today, heal individuals on the call today, hopeful individual of the call today, inspiring, wealthy, just whatever you see in yourself, drop that in the chat today. It's kind of important that you also big yourself up. I know you got your leaders. I know you got individuals that are teaching you, your teachers, your coaches, whoever you have in mind when it comes to things that you aspire to. But don't forget about yourself. Do not forget about yourself. 9 times out of 10, I could just hop on the call and share with you what's going on in my life. And hopefully, it's something that benefits you. Actually, I had a conversation with one of my coworkers earlier, and she was just like, I'm just looking for the manifestation. I'm looking for the manifestation. And the manifestation is the fruit. And I had to remind her, I am the fruit. You are the fruit. You are the manifestation. You are the growth. You are the individual that has the harvest, right? You sometimes think on the outside, you think it's your bank account, you think it's where you live, you think it's your car. No, you are the manifestation. You're the walking, talking, breathing example of what it means to survive, what it means to thrive, what it means to give, what it means to model and show excellency within yourself first. So the things that you are believing within yourself, you have to be that first, within you first. But if you don't see it in the mirror, if you're not writing it down, if you're not telling yourself day in and day out that I'm a millionaire, or I'm a billionaire, or I own land, and then I provide housing and I give to my neighbors without looking for anything in return, then you won't be that if you don't speak that. You will not be anything you do not speak. Let me give you an example. You drive up to the drive-through. Maybe you don't like McDonald's, maybe you don't like Burger King, wherever. And we can go to Starbucks, right? So they're so high in prices, right? Let's say you go to Starbucks and you pull up. What do they say? They say, welcome to Starbucks. They don't say, welcome to Burger King. They don't say, welcome to McDonald's. They don't say, welcome to Subway. Why? Because they bought in on where they're working. Have you bought in on your skills? Have you bought in on your calling? Have you bought in on the vision that you have for your life? So when you pull up to somewhere, you go to the event, you go to the meeting, you introduce yourself. It's the same thing as saying, welcome to Starbucks. Why? Because you are sold on the vision, you're sold on the dreams, and you're sold on the impact that you're going to have in the lives of others. I'm sure the CEO is not at the drive-through unless he wants to be. But somebody has to start it. Somebody has to plan it. Somebody has to write it. Somebody has to show up. And if you're waiting on other people to do the job for you without you mastering the job first, then it will not get done. It will not get done. You do not become the coach without being the track star. And if anybody is coaching on something they have not mastered, that is not a coach, that's an imposter. And you have to know the difference because anybody can look like something but not have the skill sets. But I don't think that's what the crypto nerds are doing. I don't think that's what the GYTB snipers are doing. I think they're showing up. I think they're being consistent. I think they're learning the charts. I think they're studying the skills and they're walking it every day, day and night. They're walking it every day and night. You don't become the master of something by doing nothing. You become the master of something by doing it repetitiously. You're failing and you're moving forward. You're failing and you're moving forward. Then you see progress. you're failing, you're moving forward, then you see progress. You don't see the charts from not looking at it. You seeing it from looking at it so long, it just looked like the regular menu. When you start looking at it, you'll see it in the hospital. You'll see it in the gas station. You're like, dang, I can tell based off the weather. I can tell based off the news what's happening in the chart because you become market structure. You have to think it and you have to be it. That's what it is. That's what you desire. That's what you give. That's what it is. That's what you desire. And that's what you give because you cannot give people what you do not have. And if you take your time and write the vision and make it plain, so not that others can just see and run, so you can see and run, then we have something to build off of. That, my friends, is what you call the foundation. And the fundamentals start with you. Thank you for listening. I hope you guys have an amazing call tonight. Ty, I'm passing it back to you, love.
I mean, can we just drop some mics in the chat? Can we drop some mics in the chat? Just come through and drop the mic like that. Sheesh. Talk about a word, take us to church. The stage is on fire. Whew, yeah, that was a word. I appreciate you, Shay, coming through. And y'all, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you when you anointed in your craft, right? I literally called her like 15 minutes before the call. Can everybody type a 1-5 in the chat? I called her 15 minutes before the call. Can y'all talk about powerful? Hey, listen, she got it in the back pocket. Can just pull it out. Listen, when you born with it and you prepped already your whole life, you ain't gotta get ready. You're already ready. You just gotta show up. No preparation needed. Because she put the time in, she put that repetition in. So a lot of people were like, dang, how you so good at what you do? Right? Hey, Ty, how did you see the chart that fast? Right? I didn't even trade US 30. I haven't looked at the chart in forever, but it took me like 5 seconds. Boop, boop. Let me mark it up. Bang, bang, quick. Throw it in there. All right. Hey, do you see it? You see what? All right. You're not there yet, but I'm going to get you there. Right? So again, Shay, I appreciate you. If y'all ready to get to the charts and keep fine tuning our craft, let me know. Just read the picture. I did grade your homework in 5 minutes. I mean, you know. So let's share our screen and get ready. Matter of fact, let's see. We got about 28 people on the call, minus me, 29. Can we get 28 sevens in the chat? Let me know you focus. You tuned in, you clocked in, and you ready. Right? Now remember, no shy people allowed. No shy people allowed. If you shy, it's okay. But we gotta keep growing. I used to be shy too. I'm actually still shy depending on the crowd. I'll be quiet. I don't know if I just people watch first. I gotta fill out energies and all of that stuff. I think a lot of that be more going on than me being shy. Because once I'm cool and the energy's good, then it's like, it's turn up time. Let me know if y'all can relate. Right? I feel like that's probably how this whole tribe navigate. Because again, we all on the same frequency. That's how we all in this Zoom together. Right? You probably might be trying to compare your pocket to the next person's pocket. But you gotta realize love is really the money. Frequency is really what's inside of you. So if we're all on this call together, we actually are on the same frequency. So you can really have what anybody else on this call have. Let me know if it makes sense. You really can have what anybody else on this call has. You just gotta figure out if you really want it bad enough. So it starts with the structure. So what we're gonna do is, can you guys tell me what are the two trends you see on the screen? What are the two trends we see on the screen? uptrend and downtrend, right? Now, in order for us to be able to determine that, right, we have to be able to notate really first our breaker structure, right? It's going to be two things we're going to focus on here. BOS and change of character, all right? Now, I need y'all to understand something. When it comes to the BOS, we're going to really utilize that for when price is going in the same direction, right? The BOS is great use because if we can continue getting BOSs back to back, that means we're in a trending market. Let me know if that makes sense. Now, when it's trending, that's the market you want to be trading, right? Now, another key section of trade is when the change of character first happens, because that means it's prepping you up to be at the beginning, right? Because I want you to understand something. In a downtrend, the change of character is going to happen towards the bottom, right? There's going to be some sort of action that's going to happen towards the bottom that's going to in turn lead us to this uptrend. Then there's going to be something that's going to happen at the uptrend, which is a change of character, that's going to lead us to the downtrend. So we definitely want breaker structures to know which direction they're going. But then if we can catch a change of character and wait for the first breaker structure after this change of character, then that means we're early on. So let's just say a change of character just happened over here somewhere. And now we get our first breaker structure after that. That means at that point, we officially have one ABC flow. All right. And let's make sure we understand the 0 to A, right, is your expansion phase. That's the first part of the phase, your expansion phase. From 0 to A, I don't know why that 0 doesn't stay on the screen, but there is a 0 there. 0 to A. Everybody got that? That's important. We're not trading yet during this phase because during this phase, we do not have a breaker structure. I need y'all to understand for your setup to even be something you can look at, we have to have a breaker structure first. Even after change of character, we still have to wait for the first breaker structure. Make sure you put that in your notes, right? And then the next part of the phase that we're still waiting to happen is, what do we call this phase? After we consolidated at the top, we expanded down. What is the phase called for A to B? Retracement phase, right? Retracement phase. At that point, we still don't technically have a trade, right? We have to wait because we still have not gotten a break of structure, right? We have to understand right here, all we have is a high and one low. Everybody got that? We have one high, one low, and right now they're just prepping the picture for us. We're starting to get excited, but we need this price to continue down, right? With the continuation of the downtrend direction. And like I said in the textbook, it's called the reversal, right? They call it expansion, retracement, then reversal. They call it the reversal because we just came from going up. I feel like it makes more sense to my brain that, hey, we're in a downtrend, so we are just continuing down, and that is the trade we want to take. But for the first part of the phase, we need a full 0, A, B, C. We basically need one full cycle flow. What's a cycle flow? Where it expands, it retraces, and then we finally get the breaker structure when they create that lower low. Now the lower low is here, and now we can officially say we have a new lower high. right? The lower high. What do the nerds call this area at this point? Once this broke lower, what is this called? Let's go, Toya. Sky. Now we have a new sky, and since we have a new sky, we also have a new what? This lower low is called your what now? Correct, you got it. So now that that entire phase is finished, what should we expect to happen next? What do we expect to happen next? It may not happen, but what do we expect? I see a continue. I see a breakout. Think about it. So let's try to use our terminology, right? We're going to say, hey, the cycle flow starts over. The cycle flow will start over. Let's go, Sully. We're going to start a new ABC because now it starts over. The old B to C is now the new 0 to A. This is our new swing. Everybody got it? That is now considered, boom, the new expansion. So you could just have your 4 little pieces ready to go so you could remember what you're waiting on. So now that we have this new expansion, we have a new break of structure, we have new fresh data. It is now game time. Everybody got that? Now it's time for us to step into position. And we have to determine where are we gonna wait for price to come to for us to take the trade. Everybody got that? We have everything we need, a fresh break of structure, a new lower low. Now it's time to prep. Type of 3 if we get it. Type of 3 if you get it. It is now time to prep. It's time to prep. So, that being said, bring this down a bit. Price is here. It made its new lower low. It has only 2 options for us. Price has to come back to the low that we broke. It at least has to come back to the low. So we're going to type a B because that's the thing. We have set rules. There's certain things we got to be a little fluid with, but other things we have set rules on. So we're going to just prep the B ahead of time. We're going to line it up, right? We're lining it up with the low. Everybody see that? The place to be there ahead of time. Because what I want you to do is make sure that you never press the button before it gets there. Everybody got that? You are not allowed to press the button until price gets over here. And even when it gets here, you're still not allowed to press the button right away. Make sense? Hopefully it makes sense because guess what? This type of trade, we're going to label it your S and R trade, your support and resistance trade, right? Remember when Anointed said, hey, first it was the earth and then it turned into the sky, right? That's just support and resistance. He was like, hey, when we're trying to explain support and resistance, it's like people didn't get it. But if we let you know, like, hey, this earth turned into a sky, it might make sense. How we gotta position it, right? I always say, I used to give this analogy for parents that have children. And for anybody who saw the movie Baby Kids, let me know if you saw that movie or if you have children. Type one in the chat. All right. And let's see. I'm gonna use this person because they had it up to here. All right. The mom Dukes had it up to here. She got 3 baby kids. All right, guys. Here you are. Single parent, got all the kids, and you happen to have baby kids. And This is where you are. You all are chilling. They're right up under your butt. And you're like, oh my God, I have to take a break. So what you're gonna do is you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go downstairs. Gonna go downstairs. Dang, I know these kids is following me though. They're following though. You know what? Before they get behind the door, I better hurry up and close the door. I gotta hurry up, close the door so they can't follow me. All right? They can't follow. Yes, let me go a little bit lower so I can't hear them. I'm chilling. Woo! Chilling. Gotta. Hey, man. Because if you don't close the door, they're gonna be right in there with you. Right. Now, the thing is, you still a mother, you still care. You're gonna have to go back. You gotta go back and go feed the kids. Yeah, hold on. You gotta go back and feed the kids. You can't too long. You gotta make sure they're okay. But yep, that break wasn't long enough. Hold on. Take a nap. Take a nap. And y'all get on my nerves so much. I'm gonna go to the next floor down. Go to the next floor. So this time you get to stay away a little bit longer because they done took a nap. So you see how far away we got. So, you probably went, had a drink or two. So on your way back home, it's not as smooth as when you ran out the house. You a little jagged on the way going back. Right? But again, we try to think of all different ways to help it stick in your brain, right? But that used to be one of the analogies I used to use. All right. So let's take the babies off. So funny, y'all. Gotta make trading fun. It's the best video game I ever had. So back to this, right? Price comes back up, and we are expecting it to at least come to this B. But understand this is second best. I don't want you to make the majority of your trade setups SNR setups. Type of one, that makes sense. These are good, but they leave you a little bit more risky. Like your account is a little more exposed, your stop loss. Either it's gonna be too tight or you gotta make it extremely big because in no reality, your stop loss should be above the last lower high. In the downtrend, it should be above the last lower high. Because remember, these two, the zero and the A, is in control. So if you put your stop loss in here trying to catch this trade going down, you bump into a chance of it coming back up. Type of one, if that makes sense. That's why the SNR trade is second best. Yes, we marked up our levels. So here, that's a good question. Let me go back and answer that. And we're gonna actually do it with the candles too, right? So when this came down, that's what we had was a high and a low. So I marked the low, I marked the high, and I drag it out a little bit to see which one gonna get broken, right? Because I'm not married to any direction. We're here to follow the flow. So as price is doing this thing, we're waiting. We don't know if it's gonna break above or below, right? And then finally it broke below. So now I drag this line out because I know price has to at least come back to here for me, at least. So right now it's still chilling right here, right? It's chilling right here. I put the B here. Can anybody take a guess? Where's the other spot that is better for us to really wait for the trade to come to? Where's the better spot versus this B section? Where's the true B area we want price to come to? Can you show me on the chart? The base, that last lower high. Yes, because what is over there? That's where all the money is. That's where the gas tank is at. And it gives us that sexy stop loss we want because now our stop loss is above the last high and it's a better spot. And if price is going to do what it's supposed to do after it comes back to our main B, which is the base, which is back to the sky, we get a way better trade because in no reality, we should be going down to break this low. Does it make sense? I need some water. I don't even got none right here. Does it make sense? Yes, yes. All right, perfect. So in this case, we're going to say that price got to this B, but kept going, got to the main base. We're waiting now for price to give us the takeover. So our entry may be somewhere over here, stop loss above, and we're looking to take the trade down. Everybody got that? Now, we have a new low. We have a new low. We have this previous SNR level that's still here. We broke through it, broke through this low, made a new low. It starts all over. This is 0 to A, right? This is a B area we're looking for. This B area is still here. And now we will have a new base, right? Somewhere over here. Even this whole section. So if I was to ask you, once price made this new low, which B do we prefer for price to come to? The lowest B, the middle B, or back to the base? Which one do we prefer? The base, right? The base. Now, are we allowed to look to take a trade from here? Yes or no? Are we allowed to look for a trade here? Remember, we was allowed to look at it at this low. So are we allowed to look at it here? Right, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna take these trades. Because you can still have a good R&R. We're just gonna play it different, right? As long as it come back here, we're allowed, right? But it's just second best. Perfect. It's just second best, but we are allowed. Right? This is our new SNR level. This level is actually strong because remember, it's the earth that just turned into a sky. Type of 1, if it makes sense. It's still good, right? A earth turning into a sky is solid. It's still solid. Support turning into resistance is a good spot. This is the pivot. This is the key level, the strong pivot. All right. So now, of course, we wanted to come back. Right? We even happier because right now we got 3 options. But we're not gonna look for nothing all in between, right? We're gonna be serious about it coming to the key level. All right? This is even better. This obviously is the best, right? Now, the thing is, the way we're gonna do it for the second best setups, and we're even gonna say this is still second best too, okay? It's still second best to the best. So if price comes to here and actually gives us a signal that they're gonna take over, or comes to here and give us a signal, When it comes to your risk tool, you're gonna set it up a little different. So if I take the trade here, obviously we should have a new master candle over here. We're gonna be above the master candle. Our TP1 should say 1-to-1. Type of one if you got that. So when you drag your profit down, TP1 is 1-to-1. So if your account says you can risk $25 right here, this is the beauty of only doing a risk plan of 2 trades per day. 0.5% risk each. So if your plan said you could risk $50, then you're only gonna take 2. One trade you're gonna risk $25. You're gonna save the other $25 for another trade. So we're gonna put this in red. Make sure your stop loss you put in when you get in a trade. So if you know exactly what you're gonna risk, if it happens to lose, you know already out the gate, I'm doing good. I'm sticking to my risk plan. I'm not risking more than $25. When it gets to this 1-to-1, how much would you have made? Hopefully you know it's $25. So that means you just made 0.5% on that one trade. Yes and yes? Will you be happy if you made 0.5% just going that little bit? Let me know. Would you be happy about that? Right? And it says the stop loss is 102 pips. Right? I'm gonna teach you how to not be scared of the 102 pips. This 102 pips doesn't mean anything. You could make this 102 pips be $25 by using the right lot size. Right? No, bigger accounts. It doesn't matter. This is what I'm teaching you right now. The account size doesn't matter. Right? Whatever your 0.5% is for your account, that's the number you're gonna use. Because guess what? If you can learn, if your account was $5 per trade, because you only could risk $10, that means you're learning how to manage 0.5%. This $5 is still 0.5% for somebody, right? This is what you got to learn to get in the right mindset. For you, maybe yours is $5. Maybe for the next person it's $50. Maybe for the next person it's 500. Maybe for the next person it's 5,000. Either way, everybody got to respect the 0.5%. Because if you can respect it with $5, imagine you growing your account to 500, you spend 500, and then now you get access to a 100K account. And now you're in a different ball game, right? So think about it. If you can master this 0.5% now by only learning how to go 1-to-1, then you're gonna be able to grow any size account, right? Let me know if it makes sense. So now TP2 is 1.5. 1.5. Right? Giving you set rules. Man, how do you determine your targets? Showing you right here. Because it's all about the risk plan. I'm going to show you how you don't have to trade a lot, but you can still make 0.5%, 1% on one trade. So now, when we get to 1.5, how much money will we have made? When we get to 1.5, how much money would you have made? Good job. $75. Everybody sure about this math? Is everybody sure about their math? Think about it. Right? Want to make sure you guys are counting properly. Think about it. Yeah, TP2 is 1.5 risk reward. So at 1-to-1, 25 to 25. So what's 1.5? 37.50. 37.50, guys. Now, when it gets 2 to 1, then we have doubled our money. 2 to 1 is double what we risk. Got it? So now we at $50. Okay? That's all right. That's why we learning today. This risk tool is gonna help you set you up for success. So imagine, you know, even if it was $5, right? That'll be a nice growth for $100 account. You risk $5, you made 1%, right? You risk 0.5% to make 1% growth. Everybody got it? Right, we started at 25. No worries. Makes sense? Now, understand, can price keep going lower? Yes. But since you decided that we're gonna take a SNR, a second best trade, we don't go no further than 2 to 1. Because understand that we did not go back full enough, right? And that's why sometimes you get caught up and price will go back now and actually go back to the base and take out your trade. Let me know if it makes sense. So that SNR setup is important, that we do not be greedy on the SNR setup because it is second best. They love to get you in early, right? Just to turn around and then go back and then go all targets. And that's when you're like, dang, I knew it was gonna go that way. I knew it. You were right. Right? Wouldn't it be better to just exit? Don't worry about that little greedy part. And then if they do come back, now we ready to play baseball and take the best trade. Right? But that don't mean we can't finesse these little 2 to 1 setups. If you knew, you can take it at 1.5 and run. Okay? Makes sense? All right, cool. Now, if you look, price does the cycle flow, and then at some point, somehow, some way, that downtrend turns into an uptrend. Right? At some point, it turns. Let me know if y'all see it. At some point, that downtrend starts to give you ABCs going the way up. But when can you really start attacking it? Well, remember, we really should get a fresh BOS to do so. Right? We don't get to change the character until the lower high. The last lower high is broken. This is the last lower high. Why? Because this was the last lower low. That was the last lower low. But there were ABC moves we could have caught, right? Because once this broke structure here, right, created this move up. Let's get this out of our way. Right, created this move up. Now we have 2 spots we can look for trades. Right? Hey, where did it break from? Right here. Where's our new base? Down here. Yes or no? Let me know if it makes sense. Is this our new base? Is this the new SNR level we should look for? So when price get back here, it's even better that it went underneath the base because we love when it closed back above. Right? Keep thinking about that frequency, right? They go up. We want to see the turn. We want to buy, but we want to see the turn. Sell, turn. Yes, go below. Close back above. Let me know you're serious. And then now we can look to do what? Continue the structure. Right? So we spent quite a bit of time on this float. So let's now go to the chart. Let's put this into action. Can you see where we have a great trade we could have took advantage of? Right? Can you see the sell that we could have taken advantage of. All right. So for training purposes, we're gonna go over it. In the next class, we'll let you guys more so be more hands-on. So I just want us to look at this picture for a second. We have this nice downtrend going on right here. All right. Can we all see it? Now, when it comes to the Hakanashi candles, which candles act as our basis? And since this is a downtrend, we only care about the master candles at the top. Right? Which ones act as our basis in this picture? Right? If I want to take a sell down, which one is acting as the basis? Right? And you got to be able to locate that master candle. The master candle is the first part of the phase. And the first part of the phase starts with a C. Right? Going back to our CERC, which is part of our cycle flow. Right? Zero, our zero to the ABC equals consolidation. Everybody got that? The zero is our first phrase. This is consolidation, right? The master candle traps the consolidation, so we can make sure not to be in it. Can we see all three? Everybody see it? Right? This master candle had 3 dojis. This master candle had basically 1. I think this one 2. This has 1. Right? Perfect. So next phase is what? What's it called? We get consolidation. What's next? That belongs to 0 to A. What's 0 to A? Ah, perfect. Expansion, right? It expanded away. Perfect, right? That's our expansion phase. So 0 to A to B is our what phase that comes next? All right, what's A to B going to be called? Yes, retracement, right? Retracement. We retrace back to where? Where do we go back to? The sky, the base. Everybody agree? Yes. So what's the next phase? Our trading phase. But in this case, we need one full ABC. So technically we can't trade yet because we've been kind of in the uptrend. We don't really know if they're in the downtrend yet, right? We don't really know yet. But they end up making a lower low right here, right? We got the B back to the base. They broke structure, made a lower low. Now it's game time, right? We got our B to C. No, you're not ahead. And Hakanashi, I'm more privy sometimes to the bodies, right? But technically, it really should be the wick for true breaker structure, right? So, like for this one, we didn't get a breaker structure until this, right? So, if I was to use the wicks, the first real breaker structure was this 0 ABC. So now we got an official breaker structure, right? So that's a great question, Sully. Got that, right? So now we actually have that BOS, right? We have a new low. So now we actually could wait for when price retraces back to this base. And now we can look to actually trade. Make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. All right, let me clear some of this up real quick. All right, so let's do one more step. All right. We have this low. All right. For visual purposes, we have this high, and then we have this low. We have this high, and then we have this new low. And I'm going to take price back to over here. Now, what I want y'all to notice is this is on a daily time frame, okay? So what we just did was we marked structure on the daily. Structure on the daily was what we did. So that means entry, we're going to go 2 down, should be on the 1 hour. Everybody got that? Since this structure was the daily time frame, you want to enter and look for your entries on the 1 hour. That's super important. It's not that we can't stay on this time frame, right? But if y'all know, like I know, we like sniper entries. Everybody type snipe in the chat. We like sniper entries. So if I'm gonna find structure on this time frame, I need to go 2 lower so I can actually catch the snipe. Because I know exactly where I want it to go to. Right? I know exactly where I want it to go to. And let's go back actually another candle. All right, let's go back another candle. So we already verified that we are now officially in a downtrend sequence. Yes and yes. We have an official break of structure right here. Right? We have an official new lower high. Can I confirm that this lower high is valid? Can somebody tell me how is this lower high valid? Only one thing makes it valid. Let's see. Yes, Yana, she was on it today, right? Because we actually have a lower low. We have a new lower low. We have a break of structure. We broke the previous low. So now we can say, you know what? Yes, this is strong. This is accurate. I see my master candle. This is great. Perfect. Now that I see prices started retracing, how do I know now that this is actually the low right now and they don't want to go lower? Well, if we look at the candles, right, understanding the opens, the sellers keep opening lower and lower, right? They open from the top. They kept opening from the top, right? If I go to Japanese candles, same thing, right? Doesn't matter, right? They open from the top, open from the top. That's why really the name of the candles don't matter so much, but the anatomy does. Open from the top. And then we started taking over bullish engulfing candles, right? The sellers open, we took over again. We took over again. Sellers open, the buyers, we keep taking over. Everybody see that? So once the buyers start going back and taking over, this lower low is pretty much official at that point. Okay? But right, to keep the visual easy on the eyes, we're gonna go back to Hakanashi candles. Everybody see it, right? Sellers in control, in control, in control. The buyers tried to come back. Nope. Sellers said, no, we're going to open lower, lower. Finally, the buyers was able to take over. Now they're opening in control. And we're looking for the sellers to take over so we can take the trade. So now we're just doing that same process. Hey, you need to get your butt back up here. Because if you don't close the door, the baby's is going to follow you, right? You want to get up here and close the door. Hurry up. So that way, when you go to run away, we're going to get out of there safely. But that's why I prefer to use us robbing the banks. Hey, let's make sure we get inside the bank to get the money, right? People trying to rob the bank and they're not even in the bank. Let me know if it makes sense. You got to be in the bank to get the money. You got to be inside. So let it get up here. At least get to the door. Maybe you got a friend on the inside that's passing you the bag through the door, but at least get to the door. Okay? Those are your best trades. So, in order for us to do that, right, we need to go to the 1 hour to catch it. That's important. So, also, this is the spot where you can now put your fib. For people who really are trying to figure out how to put the fib, this is when you can now officially put it because you have an officially a new lower high, a lower low. The buyers have started their retracement up, and that's what you're trying to measure is the retracement back up. So now we're gonna take, right, one down to the zero because we're in a downtrend, right? We're in the A to B phase, which is the retracement phase. And we already said that, hey, they need to come in between 75 and 50%. You got to get up here. You don't get to the sweet spot. We can't talk to them. We don't want to take the trade. Everybody got that? So, what if price gave a signal right here and closed outside this master candle? Because can we see it's a master candle right there? What if it does that? Should we take the trade? If it does that, should we take the trade? Which I think, according to the rules, right? Because again, we got set rules. Max 2 to 1. Yes. Yes. Risk too much? No. No. Well, for one, are we at a, did it do a SNR trade? Because remember, SNR trade has to come down and then we come back to the level and then turn. We don't have that type of setup, right? It only got a little bit and it's back here. So the answer in this case would be a no. Price did not get his butt in between. It got to get above. Don't fall for the trap. Type of 3 if you understand. Don't fall for the trap. That's not your trade. You don't want that. It's too cheap. Not enough discount. No more Yana, right? Don't do it. It's too cheap. We want a bigger discount. We want price. Get in here. Because what we want to happen is if price closes below, you got to think this is how you become profitable even if you lose a lot. R. If price closed below here and I'm supposed to get my butt out at the new lower low, right? I'm not going to get much. No problem, right? I'm not going to get much, right? What if it closed even lower? Like, where am I? I don't get much. And then you got your spread too. So we want to make sure it gets up there. But what we want to do is we're going to set out alert, right? Set your alert, at least to in between, actually maybe even your 61.8, but set the alert here. So when it gets here, you're going to be looking at it on the 1 hour. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the 1 hour and we're going to be patient traders and wait for it to get to that area. Everybody got that? Right? Just going to wait to get there. So we know we're waiting it to get up into this orange space. Yes and yes. We know that this green is our 75%. This is 50%. But we want to get up in this area, right? We getting closer. We now touching it. We touching at least. What is this? The master candle, right? Everybody see it? We touching it now. This right here might have made somebody take the sell. Yes or no?
Next to mine.
I keep muting her. I'm not sure what's happening. Yes. Yes. Right. And you're gonna be like, no, let me just try to be patient. Let it get his butt up there. Right? When it's up there, then I can start prepping. Then I can start thinking about taking a trade because now my RR makes sense. All right. Is this high enough for you to take the trade? Is this high enough? Are we in the discount zone? Touching counts too. right? Because remember, we touching a strong daily little area, right? Touching works. Now, remember, your risk is going to be prep too. Because remember, we're looking to enter anywhere between 75% underneath this area, under 50%. And this is another reason why, if I just prep it now, my stop loss belongs above the last high, the 1.2. I know I'm not supposed to go no further than 25%. So as long as it's in my zone and I get the signal I want, I'm allowed to take the trade. But that's why we're on the hour time frame, so we can figure out exactly a little bit better where that entry might be. Right? So when it formed on the hour time frame now, we could kind of already be waiting. So let me go back to when it's like this. Right? It's like this. We see it. We on the 1 hour, like, okay, well, shoot, I need price to close below this area. And you'll kind of have an idea of where your entry is going to be now. But your stop loss stays the same because your stop loss belongs to the structure you marked. Everybody got that? Don't be tempted to be like, oh, well, I just want it lower. No, if it belongs at 117 pips, guess what? How much are you supposed to risk? If it's $25, it's still going to be $25. You're going to change, right? Well, you know how you drag the line up on Trade Locker, right? Think about it. You drag that little red line up, and it's telling you how much your risk is. So it always starts at a 0.01. So if you drag it up and it's at a 0.01, and it's supposed to be 117 pips, and it's over $25, what does that mean for you? If you're at a 0.01 and this is over $25, you can't take this trade. Let me know if the nerds are getting it too. I see the snipers in the chat, they get it, but I don't see enough of the nerds answering. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't be like, oh, I need my trade to be 20 pips. No, you always need to just risk 0.5%. Because if you could get to this 25%, you'll make 0.75%. Right? That's so important. This is gonna help grow your account. You're not gonna have to take a lot of trades. Right? You're trying to take a lot of trades to make $8, $10, where if you just cut it in half, 0.5%, get your 1.5, 1 to 1, max out at 2.1. Right? But in this case, it was a full ABC trade. So we want to get out at this 25% to make sure that we're getting out at the next lower low. Because after every new lower low, if you notice what happens, right? After this lower low, how far did they retrace? Do you want to be part of that if you made this much money? We got a new lower low. If we get all the way down here, do you want to retrace 75% again? Let me know in the chat. If we can make it to the final destination, we risked 117, we walked away 176 pips. Basically, we walked away with, right, 0.75% growth. So let's zoom back in and see how many signals are we going to get in this area. So this is 6 a.m. This is 7 a.m. 8 a.m. Did you get a signal to take the sell? Look how close it is to the entry. We can't ask for nothing better. Is this technically a signal to get in the trade? Don't even make it bigger. Did it close and take over the master candle? Do we know what the next candle is going to be? Yes or no? Do we know if it's going to be a doji, a flat bottom, a flat top? We don't know. We don't care. We did our job, and we're going to press the button. What happens if price goes up further? We're going to relax because we know that $25 is up there. We know it. But we also gave our trade room to breathe just in case Because the markets is a little tricky. They a little slippery. And they might want to go fully to the 75%, and we are aware of that. But we're gonna still be chilling because we know this entire safety net covers. Wait, it hasn't closed though, right? Because we're not next candle. It closed. This is closed. I just can't press the button because it's gonna start and end the next candle. But this is how it closed. It closed. But it still can come back here. It can even go back 100%. It can even go and hit stop loss. But we did everything we were supposed to do. Did we get a break of structure? Yes. We understand that we got a new lower high to lower low. Yes. We understand that that meant we just came out of an expansion phase. Now we waited patiently for the retracement phase to put ourselves in a position to have a great R to R. This candle closed. That's the first time they officially gave a signal in the area we're supposed to be in. Can it still go higher? Remember in the chat, I said, hey guys, when we was in the USD cat trade, I said, now I want y'all to pay attention. Where can price go to? So you can start to prepare yourself with the emotions of, if you already play it out in your head, it'll probably help you. Like, hey, I know my $25 is up here. This is what I was willing to put on the line. I'm doing my professional job of risking 0.5%, whatever that 0.5% is. I had to wait until price got in between the 50 and 75 so I can get a good discount. Let the buyers get up here. They even made it to the master candle, even better. Now I have to wait for any chance that the sellers take over at this point. Now is when you watch the chart, right? You set your alert. Maybe price was down here when you did your analogy, but you got the alert and it said, hey, it broke the 50. Now you calm, and now it's time to watch the chart. Now it's time to be tuned in. Let me know if it makes sense, right? You don't want to be stuck. But on a professional level, now it's time to tune in. Now it's like, hey, I gotta make sure I don't miss the entry. Now it's time for me to really pay attention and get my trigger finger ready. I also want to remind myself, okay, yep, Ty, it can come back here. Okay, it can even come back and fill a whole candle. Matter of fact, it even may want to give me 100% discount. Now that is amazing. They do that. I'm not gonna even be upset because I'm gonna be chilling. Now, if they do come up and they come back down and give me that next entry, it's game time. That's when I'm putting my next entry. Right. So let's see what happens next. Let's see if it gives us one entry or multiple entries. Right. Right now we in the trade. So at this moment, we just hit the 50% level. Right? It just closed below. Another quarter theory. Do we think it's probably gonna go now and head its way to the 25%? The next quarter level. Do you think we're gonna go back to the previous low area and break that? All right, because so far, I mean, that's what we've been following the trend. We put ourselves in the best position. So for all the traders out there, it's 25%. We got to get rid of that now. We just got below the 50%. We did our job. Get this risk out of here. You're going to say, hey, with my stop loss right here, super tight. I'm going to put it right there, right there. Because I can't never let a winner turn into a loser. So now that risk, that $25, nah, y'all can't have that. Thank you. But I may walk away with 10 cents. Who cares? Give me my 10 cents. All pips matter, all change matters. Cents make sense. But you're not gonna take that from me. Or I'm gonna be super tight and say, hey, I'm gonna take this amount, right? Hey, I want my like $3. You're not taking that from me. So if it go back up, I don't care. I got my $3, I'm happy. Right? But technically, I would still have my risk right here right now. Right? Let's keep it here for a second. Because what I want to happen is I need to see what this pullback gonna do. Hey, how you gonna pull back? And then once you break and give me a new low, right? Then I'll be like, all right, I could go a little bit lower this hump. I'm gonna keep doing the same process, right? Hey, when price get to my next destination, oh, they broke that. All right, cool. Now my stop loss can go above this hump. Or I'm gonna take my preference and run. Let me know if it makes sense. All right, cool. We won, all right, let's see what's gonna happen. Oh, they came real close. Ah, they didn't get it. Ah, I broke again. All right, I'll come a little bit lower. Or maybe I'll just come right here at the 25% this time. Right? And broke. Rake and retouch right here. Broke this low. Yes. Yeah, buddy. Now, no matter what, I secured almost 3 floors. And then hopefully, you got your stop. Take profit at the last one. And we end the trade. We get out.